Welcome to my healthy food place, where and recipes on how you can stay healthy. Now, Grace Animali is my name. So we want to talk on the worst inflammation causing foods. Worst inflammation causing foods. Foods that cause inflammation for us. And then before we go straight to that subject on the worst inflammation causing foods, I think it would be proper for us also to understand a little what inflammation is all about. And there is also a reason why I decided to share this, to talk on this subject. There is no smoke without fire. I had to recently also experience a mild form of it, which I was able to deal with. And so I also thought that why don't we also talk about it? Because it is the forerunner to most diseases. So what exactly is inflammation? Because most time we talk, to me, I will explain it in my own way. Yes, the way I understand it. That is to say, from my own space, how I understand the word. It's taken from inflame. And inflammation is our body's way of responding, defending itself. And there are various ways it does this. Quickly, it does this by, putting up things like pain, sometimes coldness, swellings, coldness, pains, sometimes something like rashes, just something to show that all is not well. Hello, Lavina. And so recently I experienced it a little, and as soon as it was gone, that was during the week. I said, okay, we should also talk about it. Let me share this little experience. And that will take us to the foods that cause inflammations, because it's not something we want to spend too much time on talking about the inflammation. We already know that when you have pains, when you have swellings, there are some that are actually also healing. It can also be chronic or acute. When inflammation is ignored, when you don't attend to it, and it stays for a long time, it becomes chronic, continue, go on like that. Even flow, I no longer feel love. Okay, even when it's okay. So that is it. And then the foods that cause it, the main food that cause it are the processed foods, number one on that list. Then number two, too much sugars can raise inflammation. Your body begins to, if it feels that something wants to attack it, and that at the location, the locality is going to put up something like pains. And then the other things that can cause it, if you take like too much alcohol, can cause it. Like the liver can become inflamed, chronically, become a chronic one. So it's a fatty liver. There are various names medically or scientifically that could be given to this inflammation depending on where it is, where this problem is. And so the food that usually cause it is the ones I mentioned, and I want you to pay attention. Lately in the week, I had to take something that caused me pains. I've not really been having pains for a long time, and I want to also thank God for it, because pain is usually a sign of inflammation. And if you are sensitive, you will understand when it happens, and then you will also be able to trace the cause of it, because that was exactly what happened in this case. If you take excess sugar, it's going to trigger inflammation. And in this particular case, I took excess sugar. And where did it come from? It came from fruit. That is not to say that we should avoid fruit altogether. I had to take fruit. Remember, I told us in some of my previous videos, and even some of my lives, that after after 7 p.m., it is risky for us to take any solid food. And then there is also another portion that I need to add again. Even if it's not solid food, but if it's more than your body can take, if it is more than your body can handle after 7 p.m., it can cause things like inflammation. And so that was the experience I had. What happened was, it was after about 7 p.m. or after 7 p.m. on that day, and I thought that there is no need to take solid food, but sometimes orange could be okay, just one orange. But in this particular case, I decided, on previous days, previous occasions, I had to take orange, but not very large one size, because they have different sizes of oranges. But this time around, the orange was actually a very large one. And it was also sweet. Yes, if you get a good one and it's sweet. So that was actually what happened. Because we cannot, put out all of these mistakes, I call it, or maybe sometimes we just go overboard. So I decided to take it because on previous occasions, I normally take it, but not very large size. But in this case, I thought, who should I give the remnants to? After I've already cut it. I'd already cut it. It looked to me like it was too big, too much, because it's a sugary fruit, and it was already evening. And so I decided to finish it. Yes. And guess what? In the morning, it came up with inflammation just by the right side here. It was painful, it was swollen, it was cold. Now, sometimes the coldness may be a sign that there is maybe kind of accumulation of fluid there, and you need to take anti-inflammatory foods. That is the medicine, and I want you to pay attention, because the inflammation-causing food in this particular case was the sugar was too much, because it was already late. And so those of you who are taking sugar, maybe you say it's fruit, crunchiest, add a question and answer. A question, try it. Crunchiest food. Okay. You are welcome. So what I'm saying is that sometimes you want to take Florence Philip, and you're welcome. So remember we are talking on the worst inflammation causing foods. And I just gave you an example of how I experienced a mild form of inflammation, not chronic. Some people are experiencing pains, maybe around the joint. This inflammation could be anywhere. And there's no smoke without fire. It always comes from either lifestyle or from what we are eating. And the worst foods that can actually trigger it is the ones that sugar is number one. High carbohydrates, you can list it down if you like. If you take too much carbohydrates and it's not sufficient, there's no protein, it's going to cause inflammation. Too much, whether it's natural foods, natural carbohydrates or processed. But the worst one are the processed ones, because they come like breads and biscuits. They cause inflammations because they come with other additives, other trans fat, and there are some oils. Now, this one, a lot of people are ignorant concerning this point I want to make. A good number of inflammation comes from trans fat, from vegetable oils. And there is also some inflammation that are caused by the imbalance in the food, in the nutrients. If you are taking too much of omega-6, a good number of the foods we are taking have more of the omega-6. Yes, foods like soya oil or soya beans products. There are other oils that comes with sunflower oil, safflower, corn oil, a lot of oils. Because oil, if you are fighting inflammation, you must be very careful. If you are fighting chronic inflammation, you must be very careful with oils because it's among the top. And the worst part is when you fry the oil. And that's what a good number of you are doing. You have to fry your chicken, fry your sweet potatoes, and not only are you frying it, you fry it with these oils that are high in omega-6. Now, when there is an imbalance between the omega-6, which is usually the case in our bodies, the omega-3 is very rare. It's not common in foods. And so when the body do not get omega-3, which can help to reduce inflammation in certain foods like sardines, some foods like flax seeds, some foods like chia seeds. There are some foods that come, even the fatty fish, they are good in this omega-3. But a good number of time, they are not common in our food. They are not food that we love. A good number of them, they are not frequently occurring in our diet. And so the ones we consume mostly from the processed foods and all of that, a good number of them come with this omega-6. And so when the omega-6 becomes too much in our body, it creates an imbalance. So because as a result of this imbalance, we start experiencing inflammation. And if we are not knowledgeable, if we are ignorant of the cause of this, I've gone through that also in the past from soya beans. So that is why I caution us to be careful. It's a good food. I take it, but with caution. Anytime there is inflammation or chronic, you start feeling pains, you need to be careful. Sometimes when there is too much iron in the body, yes, it can also cause it. Some iron-rich foods, even meat, beef. Of course, we know that beef, whether it's fried or roasted or whichever, is among the inflammation-causing food. Anyhow you prepare it, especially when you take it in large amount. But maybe if it's just a little bite, a very tiny bite may not cause it. And if it's not frequent in your diet, it may not cause it. But then when you take it regularly, it can start building up acids. And if you are consuming acidic foods, and most of them are in this processed foods category, if you are consuming these acidic foods frequently, you also may be experiencing inflammations. And again, when the inflammation is not checked with foods, with healthy foods, with inflammation-fighting foods, which I want to also highlight here. When you do not fight inflammation by withdrawing the food that is causing you the inflammation, because that is the biggest ignorance that we face. I had to face it in the past. How? When you are experiencing pains, the worst thing that happens is when you don't know the cause or the source of that pain. I had that experience several years ago. When I say it's over 15 years, I had that experience consuming soya beans. I mean, good soya. It was very great. I was enjoying it. But I went overboard ignorantly, not knowing when I started having pains continuously. And without someone to educate me, without the knowledge of it, I was still consuming it in large number on a daily basis. Yes, that is what some people are doing. And remember that it's also high in iron. And with the high amount of iron, when the iron in it continues to accumulate, and it gets worse when you are not even taking vitamin C to help the full absorption of this iron coming from it, it won't be long. You start experiencing pains. And not only will you be experiencing pains, sometimes the pain becomes very chronic. Yes, it becomes chronic. And you will not be able to, no matter the medication you take, until you stop the food. And after you have stopped the food causing the inflammation, you must give time, allow time for the body to throw out all the excesses in the past. Yes, you are welcome, welcome, well done, ma. You are welcome. So you must allow the body to throw off the excess that it had accumulated. You don't expect instant change. Because when I stopped consuming too much soya beans, when I was experiencing that, so in those years when I was going through those inflammations, it took a long time before the inflammation was abated. And I didn't even know when it stopped, but I had stopped all the foods that were causing it. And so that is it. If you know, once you experience inflammation, pains, swelling like I did earlier this week, and it had stopped immediately. Now, if you are not known, if you do not know or stop the cause of it, it's going to continue. And the worst part is you start taking medication to stop the pains. That's what a good number of people are doing. I'm not used to taking pain relief medications. You're welcome. Hello, ma. You're welcome. So I'm saying I'm not used to taking medication or paracetamol. You can't find them in my cupboard or in my house because I don't take them. I'm not saying that taking them is bad. If you are in severe pain, you can take them to relieve your pain temporarily. That is, it's not bad. But I'm saying that when it becomes chronic, it's important to trace the food or the lifestyle or the things you are doing that is causing it. Is very important, because that was what I did during the week. And when I discovered that it came from the excess orange because of the size, I had to withdraw the orange for a day and then reduce the sugars, the sugary foods, and in bringing some inflammation fighting foods. Now, another way, food that helps, I've told you that if you are consuming too much omega-6, if you are going through joint pains, maybe you are over 60 like me, and you are experiencing chronic joint inflammation, you need to check the oil you are cooking with. You need to switch to the oil that contains omega-3 fatty acids, because a good number of times, the excess of that omega-6 and then omega-9 sometimes, which is also fairly rare, will be causing inflammation. You will be consuming those foods without knowing. You'll be frying your stew with soya bean oil. Some of you are still doing it. I made that mistake because I felt that then, that was a long time ago, that soya bean was or is a good source of vitamin E. So I love the oil so much. But I tell you, it's one of the oils that cause inflammations because of high omega-6. Okay, you said you are very correct, man, which is what I'm going through. Yes, so you will be experiencing the pain, but while you are taking medication, you will be, of course, you can't eat without oil. No, who does that? You can't. So until you change, thank you for that comment. So you can also state what you are going through, as you said, so that I'll be able to, know exactly how to come in your own specific case. So I'm saying that, so you may be going through inflammation, very chronic, maybe joint or whichever, but you don't know that there is an imbalance between omega-6 and omega-3 in your diet. And no matter what medication you take, my dear, until you bring in foods to balance that imbalance, omega-3 food sources like fatty fish, like walnuts, like cold pressed olive oil, like chia seeds, like flax seeds. There are several other foods, but they are not the frequently occur. I mean, it's not a regular food, a nutrient that you can easily find in most of the foods. And so it's most times we are deficient in omega-3, and then we are having excess of omega-6, and even sometimes omega-9. Like this fatty fish, they call catfish. It's not a source of omega-3. But some people, when you say fatty fish, they start eating it. It's not to say that the fish is bad. The fish has protein, small amount, but that catfish has more of omega-9 and others, but not this rare omega-3, which can help to balance, to fix the imbalance that is causing your pain. And so if you are taking medications, it will have no end until you correct that imbalance. That's just one aspect of inflammation that I'm talking about. Inflammation that arises as a result of imbalance in your, especially because this imbalance comes from oils most of the time. So you need to, first of all, fix your oil, the oil you are eating, cooking with. Very important. You must fix it if you want to stop those pains. Then balance it. Then you need to also check the carbohydrates consumption. Yes, you heard me. Too much carbohydrates. After 60, your body don't know what to do with it. I'm testimony of what I'm telling you. You don't have to say, no, I'm not diabetic. We are not diabetic in our family. No, you don't have to wait to be declared a diabetic, a pre-diabetic, before you start eating right. Because if you are consuming high carbohydrates, some of you are thinking you can't do without carbohydrates. What did you eat in the morning? Yam. What did you eat in the afternoon? Beans and plantain. Yes, beans and plantain, they are both inflammatory. Beans and yam, they are both inflammatory. And you are fighting pains. And you want the pain to go. You are fighting inflammation. And you are eating food to feed it. Now, you are eating beans and plantain. Is there any omega-3 in that diet? And sometimes add red oil. These foods are not bad. I want you to get the point where I'm going. I'm not saying the red oil is bad, but every food has its own nutrition. And you need to know the nutrition. You need to have knowledge of that nutrition that you are lacking. There is one that is in excess in your body. And because of its excess, the other one is causing inflammation. So when the carbohydrates, no, it's not only omega-3 or omega-6 against omega. It's not only omega-6 against omega-3, but when the carbohydrates also is against proteins, inflammation is the result you get. Start having pains. I said it happened to me. When you are consuming sugars, maybe you say honey is original honey. Maybe the honey is fake. I've been through that before. You pay so much, but alas, it's fake honey. And you start using it to eat. Small inflammation start coming in. Why? Because of the sugar coming from there. And until you trace it and withdraw it, inflammation will continue, my dear. This was the problem I was having with my client. She loved carbs and is causing so many problems on top of her diabetes. Yes, thank you so much for that comment. Some people love carbs a lot. You'll be taking pap. Now, I will tell you another aspect of inflammation. I will continue this live maybe tomorrow. Please take this notice, because as I'm talking, so many thoughts are flowing. So when I'm talking, sometimes more thoughts start coming. That is, more ideas start flowing. So I need to share it. And my phone battery is not so loaded to carry it right now. So what I want to tell you now about the diabetes aspect is that apart from taking too much carbohydrates, which triggers inflammations, leading sometimes to the diabetes, some of them are the warning signals. When you are taking carbohydrates, it doesn't matter whether it's natural carbohydrates, it doesn't matter whether it's sweet potatoes. It is only age over time that will start talking to you. No, it doesn't matter whether it's unripe plantain. Some people are going through inflammation as a result of unripe plantain consumption, because they have believed that it is the solution to diabetes because it's a resistant starch, and they forgot that it's not a protein. Protein is essential, it's a building block. But if you watch our diet, especially in this part of the world, it's basically carbohydrates. Sometimes they pair carbohydrates with carbohydrates. That's what a good number of people are doing because of ignorance. You pair yam and plantain, beans and plantain. I said that before, and I'm going to say it again. as long as it is relevant to what I'm talking. So when you compare it wrongly, you create environment for inflammation. There's no omega-3. I talked about akara and akara, fried akara and pap. So a lot of people were challenging and commenting all over the place. I don't want to talk too much because I've managed people with diabetes and I've seen the response and I've seen all these things practically, not just reading or hearing on internet. It's something I have managed with people, for people. So I'm saying that when you pair foods like that and you do not have this omega-3 in mind, you pair the fried akara. Remember that one of the worst inflammation causing food is the fried foods. Now, a food can be healthy. You decide to fry it like eggs. But when you fry it, you make it become inflammatory by yourself. Now, moi moi or akara, whatever we call it, may be a healthy food, but the mode of preparation and the type of oil you used will now make it inflammatory. So that is the ignorance that we are experiencing. So when you take the akara and the pap, for instance, and you pair it, we were doing these things ignorantly. It's ignorance, my dear. So you pair it and start taking. Where is the omega-3? Where is the healthy fat? There is no healthy fat in the diet. Without healthy fat, your body cannot heal. It's an essential part of your diet. Without the healthy fat, your body cannot heal. Even you can't even lose fat. I was weighing 100 and before I got the secret and started losing up to what I am now, right now. But if you are trying to lose fat too, my dear, it's a good idea. Why? Because fat promotes inflammations. If you are overweight, your body is already a place. In fact, you have provided a favorable environment for frequent inflammations. Because too much adipose tissue, too much fat is a sponsor. So what I'm trying to say, too much fat is a sponsor to inflammations. You can write that one down too. So when you are overweight, that's why I often emphasize that once you start adding weight, my dear, don't celebrate. Start fighting the weight gain before it starts fighting you, because very soon now, it will open door to inflammations. You start experiencing pains. Your feet is paining, your joint is paining, your ankle is paining, under the arm is paining, your hand is paining, the head. Why? Because when the fat is too much, even the cells sometimes cannot access some nutrients that you are taking. And if this continues over time, some of them may start dying. And not only will they be dying, inflammations will start. So if you are overweight, my dear, it is a sponsor of inflammations. So you need to lose it. Okay, you are still commenting. Okay, that is Jesse. You are talking about, it's okay. I mean, with my Claire. Okay, yes. Yes, my dear. Jesse serves something. Okay, it began to affect her. Yes, there is no inflammation that will not affect your organs. Even if it is not around the heart is the one that suffers most. If you eat some foods, natural foods in excess, it starts creating inflammation. These are things I go through occasionally. Even peanuts. Peanut is inflammatory. Peanut is delicious. So many times we eat it until we have taken more than. It's a source of protein. I love it. But if you can control the quantity and take proportionately, your body loves it, your heart loves it because of the vitamin E and the protein content. Is one of the highest protein source among the nuts. I'm talking of peanuts, but sadly also It's inflammatory. It's not a source of omega-3. It's a source of omega-6. And so if you are eating it too much, sometimes when I take it too much, my dear, in the evening before I sleep, it has created acid. It has slowed down my digestion, and then the heart becomes difficult to pump. I experience it occasionally. We are all in it together. Sometimes maybe you'll be asking, what should you be eating? Or maybe you have been wondering, say, what am I going to eat to fill this stomach? These are some of the challenges. And so when you are now wondering what to eat, you start to munch on the peanut. May God help us to have that discipline, that control. So you now be munching on the cashew nut. Cashew nut is also, it has antimicrobial properties. It has healthy fat. It's a source of zinc. It's good in magnesium, but not a source of omega-3. So you need to know that missing thing in the diet and seek to balance it. So if you take too much carbohydrates, remember I'd mentioned things that can cause it. If you take too much carbohydrates, it's going to create it. If you take too much omega-6 from oils, vegetable oils, it's going to cause it. If you take too much of processed food acids, it's going to cause you too much acidic food. You are eating all the supermarket food, noodles and pastas, food that are ready to eat, are faster to cook, my dear. You are also creating ground for inflammation, because when these foods get into your body, so the body cannot use it. And the next thing is it starts causing problems, inflammations. So what the body cannot use is going to store, it's going to keep it, going to throw it away. That's how our body works. And when it's thrown out, the next thing it's going to be doing is going to be causing inflammations. Because it starts behaving like an enemy to your body. Because it's not there to feed the cells. Those of us who love to take all these baked foods, canned foods, these are key sponsors of inflammations. Now, if you can stop it, like I did during the week, I stopped mine. Honestly, I was a bit, when the thing just hooked, because it's a long time I had pains, I experienced pains. I can't remember. It's a long time. So immediately I woke up and I started feeling pain here. I think only here. Sometimes we say it's cold. I knew it wasn't cold. It was sugar from very big size orange. I thought to take half, which is what I normally do. If I feel the orange is too big and the sugar in it is too much because it's night. If it's in the morning, you can manage and take it and go for a walk and go somewhere and burn it and use it. But when you're about to lie down, what you eat matters a lot. It's very important. It also taught me a lesson, because there's always a lesson to learn if you are ready. I learned from it. So I learned that when going to bed, even if the orange is big, orange is good, I will take half and dispose the half, because of course you can't cut it and keep the remnants to take later because it's already open. So I just learned from that experience, because why? The sugar was much, and then the morning pain started. But if it's some of you, what will you do? You start going for pain reliever. I'm having pain. I didn't take pain reliever, but it's gone, my dear. Here. I didn't have to take pain reliever. You are looking for something to fix it quickly, sharp. Which food can one take to get the omega-3? I already stated the foods. Even if you go to my channel, if you are, make sure to follow me, you will see it. I said there are the top foods. Fatty fish is there, walnut is there. There are even the chia seeds. I mentioned chia seed. I mentioned flax seeds. I mentioned a host of other foods that you can find it. But the important thing also I highlighted is that it's not common. It's scarce. It's not something you see. in most foods like omega-6. So the omega-6 is readily available in vegetable oils, all the store, supermarket oil, sunflower, corn, or everywhere. I mean, what do they call it? What do they call soya bean oil. I was using it then due to ignorance. It was having chronic inflammations, not knowing the source. Because it's a source of me. Even the marketers will tell you it's a source of vitamin E. Enjoy it, use it. It's heart healthy, heart friendly. Yes, they will say it. But when you take it, the taste of the pudding is in the eating. You have to eat it first and know how healthy it is with your heart. And apart from that, it may not hurt your heart. But when the inflammation becomes chronic, all the parts will be affected, even the heart. As a matter of fact, the heart will be the one to first start complaining. Oh, perfect. I just got chia seed for my water this winter. Yes, but remember that two foods are the same. So you need chia seed has more weight. It's best in the morning. And I always suggest to people that to take like 3-4 times in a week. That's how I do. Sometimes I live a whole week, I don't take it. It's very high in calcium. And calcium too much is not good for our kidney. So I will take it. Calcium is good. It's good for our bones. When I take it, I see the effect. But it's not a regular feature. Sometimes twice in a week, I take it. Sometimes 3 times. Sometimes I live a whole week, I don't take it. That's my own way. It depends on your need. So I don't want to have too much of calcium in my body, because calcium is not a water-soluble vitamin. When you take too much calcium, those of you who are taking calcium supplement, I did all of that and I was experiencing pains because they are all carbonated calcium. They are made with carbon. And so when you are taking it, in those days we will be told that you can't do without calcium. We'll go and get a good supplement. We'll be taking our pains, will be all over the place. These pains are inflammations. The body is telling you don't want it. This thing is not understood by me. The body doesn't understand this thing you're bringing in. And the worst part of that, the calcium supplement that then, when I was taking it was, it's not like vitamin B or folic acid or some other nutrients where you just piece it out. It becomes toxic. The same thing with iron. So when you know how they work, that's why I say I don't take multivitamin. That's the life I live. It may not be okay with you, but you have a choice to make. I can't compel you or force you to go that way. It's the things I did in the past, and I learned my lessons. Yes, I learned my lessons. I've been on the best of the supplement. I don't want to mention the popular names and brands. You know them. This networking and all of that. I've taken the best of it. But over the years, I've learned that you can function perfectly and better if you understand what your body needs each time and supply it without resorting to any of those things. Yes, once in a while, not to say that taking any of them, once in a while, like me, occasionally I take fatty fish. I mean, like fish oil. Once in a while, if I feel my eyes, is strained, because I work with the screen most of the time. If I feel, for some other reasons, I can feel stressed out. And I used to know it. And when I get such feelings, I take fish oil, maybe 300 mg. Most times they are in 1,000, but I take it. Why? Because it will help to reduce inflammations. There was a time my left eye was showing serious signs of inflammation. But I'm happy that it had gone, because it would have led to changing of glasses. I hadn't changed my glasses except once for over 20 years that I've been using. I mean, I'd updated once. And the optician or ophthalmologist was shocked that how are you doing it? You're supposed to update it every 2 years. I said, I'm using food to fix it. So what I'm trying to say is that occasionally you can take some of these things like fish oil, especially for those who are over 60 years like myself. you are not, you can't be eating so much food as you were eating before. So occasionally you could be deficient. Yes. And if you can understand when you are deficient, you can just fix it. Sometimes I know I'm deficient in magnesium, because this is a nutrient that shows up. The need shows up more after 60 years. After 60 years, I began to notice it too. That sometimes your body is finding it difficult to unwind, to relax, because the absence of this nutrient and magnesium. So if you can get it, leafy greens is the best source. You can get it from pumpkin seeds. You can get it from, I'm talking of the magnesium. But if you can't get enough, you can also occasionally, that's what I do, take this supplement to just once in a long while, when you know there is a real need for it. I tell you what, the life I live. It's not living on multivitamin, but once in a long while, if I have need of it, I take it. It's not something I have in my cabinet that I have to. As a matter of fact, if I have a bottle of it, 2-3 years, I don't finish it. I've not finished it. It's not up to half, and it's almost 2 years. That is to say, maybe in a week, I take one. Sometimes 2 weeks, I don't take at all. So only when I think there is need. So why? All these things are aimed at reducing inflammations. Because when the imbalance is there, when there is need for that thing, and you don't do it, over time it starts giving you signals. And these signals, most times, is what a good number of us call disease. We call it disease, and we start going for medication in order to remove the inflammation, in order to shut it up from showing up. So that is it. So the foods that can help you to fight it are the vitamin C rich foods. You can find them in things like citrus, like orange I talk about. But then the aspect is that some healthy foods, when taken in excess, like I said before, become also a cause for inflammation, start causing inflammation. So when that means it has created an imbalance. So when you take vitamin C, like lemon juice in warm water, moderately, you get results. It will fight inflammations. Orange is a soft vitamin, even lime. Vitamin C rich food. Then vitamin A rich food like carrot, like eggs, they are anti-inflammatory. These omega-3 sources are also anti-inflammatory in nature. Then when you include oils like olive oil, cold pressed olive oil, because oil is always a problem for a lot of people. Oil, using the right oil is the beginning of it. What do you say about headache that a doctor says just happens and they prescribed topiramate? Now, headache, there are different types of headache. I'm not speaking from a medical doctor point of view. I'm also not speaking from from other perspective. I am only speaking from my own perspective, the way I had felt it, the way I understand it, and the way I had experienced it. Okay, what did you spell wrongly? Okay, what I'm saying is, when a headache comes, it is also an inflammation, but it's around the head. So it's the head that is talking at that point. Now, there are different weights and locations. Sometimes it's here, sometimes it's there, sometimes it's here, sometimes maybe due to poor circulation, sometimes due to this omega-3 insufficient, it's not sufficient, and at other times, it may even be due to low iron. Blood is not able, oxygen is not able to go around. I've had in the past, when I suffered frequent, as a teenage girl, was about 19, 20. I remember very well. So I used to have headache in the morning every time. I was working then in a hospital as an admin person. But each morning I go to doctor, I say I'm having headache. and I was still a young lady. So the doctor normally will ask me about my period. So when I say that I just finished my period, you give me folic acid, maybe to boost my blood. And honestly, I'm not usually treated of any other thing, like malaria, because a lot of people, once they start having a headache or something, they say it's malaria or BP or something. They start giving it names and tags that it may not be the truth. So I remember then that once they give me that folic acid, because after that loss of blood, as a young girl, maybe the blood is low, it's not pumping enough, and then the headache will start. The head will like almost empty. And because I was also ignorant of nutrition, to start eating natural iron-rich foods. Maybe I'll be eating bread and biscuit. You know what young girls eat? No, little or no knowledge about nutrition. And so the headache will be going on. And maybe if I luckily eat something that have like fruit and vegetables that the body needs, it start building up. And of course, iron will start recycling. And then over time, the thing will just go down. But that is not to say now that if someone is having headache, a 60-year-old or a 50-year-old, because I often ask people about their age. If people come to me complaining of headache or anything, the first question I will ask is, how old are you? This question, some people wonder why I ask it. What job you do? The reason is because age has a role to play in all of this. Because if you are an older adult, for instance, and you start experiencing the headache, the first thing they do is to check your blood pressure, check your BP, but not for a young person. So whoever that is having high blood, somebody is saying, okay, so having headache, the first thing is find out the age of that person. Find out the foods. If the person is consuming caffeine, too much of caffeine. I had a young boy who came to me, it's over 10 years now, complaining of headache all the time. I traced it to his diet. He's always taking coffee. I asked him to stop. And when he stopped, headache disappeared. I also had another young person who also reported to me of shaking hands, and then the hands will be shaking. It's a young man, about 21, 22 years. When as I went through his diet, I found caffeine was much. Stop it. He stopped it, and the whole thing, it went. So what am I saying? If someone is having headache, it could even be to caffeine. It could be anything could be the cause. So it's not okay to just run for over-the-counter medication. Now, over-the-counter medication is just telling your body to shut up, to stop talking. And it's dangerous to me. You need to find out. I have also had another person who came to me. This is an elderly woman who is up to 50 years. This was about 6-7 years ago, complaining of headache. You know where I traced the headache? I traced it to too much of a very healthy superfood, avocados. Now, if you are taking too much of calorie, even if it's a healthy food, it can cause headache. Just take note of this thing. This is based on my experience. So the woman heard that avocado is a superfood, is good for BP. Maybe you have a palm tree of the avocado. She started eating it. After some time, she cried out and called me. She's having headache, every time headache. I started looking into her diet. Lo and behold, she's eating a whole head of avocado almost on a daily basis. And she's somebody with high blood pressure. She heard it's good for high blood. Hi, my dear, you're welcome. So I said, a one whole avocado, I can't even finish half. She said that they say it's good for this. You don't have to be listening to all those they say, my dear. That's why you need to be guided. You need guidance. So I said, no, it's too much. The calorie is too much. To stop it. She said, just one like that every day. Yes. I stop it. It's too much. My dear, she stopped it. A few days later, she reported headache had disappeared. Just stop the avocados. You can't imagine me asking someone to stop a superfood like avocado. It's high in calorie. We need guidance. So there are many cases of, where when people reported headache and it was, okay, I mentioned one more headache that was my own type, my own headache. Not me, but I had to deal with in 2011 to be precise. I was actually assisting someone to get well. Sometimes we forget ourselves. And then while I was so stressed doing that, I had to travel to her location to stay overnight, trying to assist and with the surgery. Post-surgery recovery. But then I didn't take good care of myself. I was so stressed out. And in the course of that stress, I was eating meat, goat meat, and all kind of food. So my digestive tract was almost off point, off balance. Headache started. Before you know, the headache was so serious. As a matter of fact, they had to seek that they should go and admit me. I walked away. Sorry about this thing I'm saying, but I have to tell you the truth. When they took me to the place, they said I should go to work, that the headache is too much. I said, I know it's stress and the food is too much. All I ate had not digested. But they were insisting like I'm trying to disobey. Sometimes it looks like you are worried. Why wouldn't you subject yourself for hospital? But then, you know what I took that settled it? It's the truth, I must tell you. Green apples, 1 green apple. I asked them to buy me. That was on the third night when I was there. They brought a lot of drugs. I said, don't worry about these drugs. Sorry about that. I will take drugs when the time comes. But for me now, just go look for me 1 green apple. Now, that is not to say that I'm suggesting or saying that green apple is the cure for all headaches. I needed alkaline. I said, go get me cucumbers. I just needed alkaline foods and stay away, fasting from all acidic foods. So immediately I took it, my dear. This one I was even surprised myself. A couple of hours, I walked away from there. And that was the end of it. All the medications and drugs, I pack and put by my bedside. I say, please, these things have been paid for, but I won't take them. I'll just keep them. What I need is rest. And that was the end of it. I decided to start on alkaline food because I was just stressed out, and then I was still eating. I see meat, I eat. I see this, I eat. It's part of the learning. It's part of my experience. So that is not to say that all headaches should be treated that way. But the point is, I knew it was too much acidic foods. There was an imbalance between acid and alkaline, and the acid was too much. My head began to talk. Somebody said, I got apple for your presence, Grace. So, okay, he said, what's up, baby? They make the finest in the motherland, some to love. Okay, so precious. Okay. Okay, hi, Eno. You're welcome. Yes, I agree. Yes, I'm seeing your comments. The person had, okay, I hadn't seen this one. I need to attend to it. He said the person had low blood pressure. Okay, I need to attend to this. Okay, the person, okay, now, the person, yes, the person can also experience low blood pressure because of the headache can also cause low blood pressure. Just as high blood pressure can also cause the headache. That is it. So, that the body is complex. Now, there's something that happened during the week also. Maybe I should share it because my time is almost up. So, what happened was, I just have about 2 minutes now to leave. What happened was, so when you are having something like that, sea salt is very helpful. Sea salt. It really surprised me when I see how useful sea salt could help in balancing electrolyte. So you notice that your blood pressure is low. Start one small rocky salt in warm water and take it. It could resolve and settle the imbalance. Something that actually happened was, come inside. So something that happened was that I actually had to take magnesium very late. So I noticed something like coughing. I hadn't had cough syrup for, to be precise, over 15, 16 years. I hadn't tasted cough syrup. And if you're around me, I won't give to you either. I'll find a way to resolve it. And suddenly I noticed I was like coughing. And so the coughing like persisted. So I knew that the absorption of the magnesium I took was not going on well. It was very, very troubling anyway. And guess what I did? Sea salt. Sea salt by my bedside. I took just one rocky sea salt, put it in my little flask with a little warm water, and took it. My dear, that was the end of it. It's the truth, and I can't hide it from you. A couple of minutes. This is something that some of you will be running for cough syrup. A lot of things you're running around, cough syrup, cough medicine. You don't need it. Find out the cause. If it's low blood pressure, sometimes sea salt can fix it. I had experienced something like, I don't know whether it's low blood pressure because I didn't measure it, but I suspected, because there are some feelings that I do have. Sometimes when I'm really stressed out, I knew that either the BP is low, because I don't have issues with high blood pressure. So, and there are certain foods that I consume together too. Then I start feeling that way, especially when I lie down. So when I feel that way, something tells me that the blood pressure is low. And one of the signs, like I told us before, used to be like, I want to get up. It's like the getting up is hard. I suspect the BP is low. And you know what I normally do? Is the sea salt. Whether it's the sugar that is low or it's BP. It's an electrolyte. It's going to help you to set those things. And now what happened also showed me another aspect of it, which I hadn't known. We keep learning every day. So what happened was, I never tried it before, but I know that it's good. It helps with the proper absorption of nutrients. It may be that the magnesium was not going in. That was what was, irritating my heart. Honestly, I was shocked. Immediately I did that. A few minutes later, I was off to sleep. And the next time I woke up was like 2-3 hours. And I was so glad that I learned another lesson, which I said when I come here, I was going to tell those of you who are lucky, who are blessed to be here, because knowledge, my dear, is power. The truth you know. The Bible says you shall know the truth, and the truth shall set you free. No, what I tell you is the truth. You can't even quantify it in terms of money. But some of you are taking it for granted. You can do simple home remedies. Some of you are having some of these things right there in your kitchen. But because nobody tells you, you are wallowing in ignorance. So let me see what you are saying. You are saying, yes, I agree. That this person is saying, the person had to, okay, I may have, okay. So this person say, what do you say about headache that a doctor says just happens? Okay, I'd already responded to you, and they prescribed topiramate. I don't know what is that. Then I don't take vitamins. I eat, okay, I'm hearing from you. Then Choma Eunice, oh, he said, thank you, ma. I'm reading your comment, don't worry. Somebody is saying here, I think Jassy Flower is asking, is sunflower oil okay? My dear, sunflower is not okay. Let's call it a spade a spade. I used sunflower. It's one of the, in fact, it's the last oil that I had to do away with. I was so deceived because sunflower oil is very tasty, and the problem with the sunflower oil is very hidden. I used sunflower oil for a long time before I saw the devil in it. Sorry if I'm destroying this oil, because I've gone through almost all. I've gone through soy oil, corn oil, sunflower oil, safflower oil, just name it. I will buy kegs of it, only for me to discover, with beautiful commercials on it, labels, very attractive, heart friendly, belly, everything friendly, cholesterol friendly. You will see, with all those beautiful labels, I'll just go and carry from supermarkets. But when I get home, my body will give me the real result, how friendly it is. So sunflower oil was the last oil I had to drop. I enjoyed it, so tasty. Comment if you agree with what I'm saying about sunflower oil, please. Olive oil is okay, but the olive oil, you do not have to cook with the cold pressed olive oil, because it's going to form something else. The best way to use it is to use it as a spread, salad spread. It's good. Olive oil is good. As a matter of fact, one of the ways I check my cholesterol, I've told us, is to occasionally drop olive oil to help push omega-6 backwards. Because sometimes omega-6 is too much and it's becoming troublesome. So with the presence of, and the funny aspect and the ugly side of it also is that too many fake olive oil. They're using it for anointing oil, so there's too many fake of it. And one of the worst things you can buy as fake is oil. If you don't try fake oil. It will hit your heart straight away. I've had to deal with fake oil. During the week, I returned one fake oil. I don't take time to return fake oil. And I'm happy that when I return it, the sellers, they don't argue with me. Because I say, don't argue a dime. If you argue with me, I will put you on social media. I will video this your shop and put it there. So people should not come and buy. You're selling fake. Because I know fake. The last one I returned, it was changed for me. So I will never disclose, but avoid fake. And the only way to know is by using it, not by the label. They can write original there. Don't go by it. Go by using it. When you put it, use it, listen to your body. Listen to what your body. Some of you are not listening to your body. Listen to what your body is saying. Does it cause tension when you use it? Does it make your heart to work harder? Does it make your heart to work harder? Does it make you like you're weak? Does it make you like there is a heavy load placed on you? If you're having one or more of these signs, it may be that oil is not good. Yes. Then you have to drop it. I got that into her diet. Wow, no bets. But she sneaks the fake salt in her diet. Okay, natural magnesium, okay. So I'll be ending it right now, my dear. So maybe midweek, hopefully, just be on stand because my battery is low right now. I'll be back maybe on Sunday or so. Let's see how it goes. To continue a little, to talk more on this subject. But for now, I want to say goodbye to you and thank you all for coming.